We are often told that the true measure of a nation's sacrifice is counted in the blood spilled across its history. For Americans, the scale of military loss spans over 2 centuries, from the Revolutionary War to the conflicts of today. We believe we know the cost of war, but here is a historical truth that defies comprehension. More French soldiers died in the 4 brutal years of World War I alone than the total number of American military deaths throughout the entire 250-year history of the United States. France lost an estimated 1.36 million men in World War I. The total U.S. military deaths across all wars? Roughly 1.3 million. This isn't just a shocking statistic, it's the forgotten truth about the incomprehensible scale of the Great War.
Let's break down the sheer numbers that underpin this comparison. The U.S. total includes every life lost from 1775 to the present day, the staggering losses of the Civil War, the 2 World Wars, Korea, Vietnam, and all other conflicts. This 1.3 million total took over 250 years to accumulate. France's loss of 1.36 million occurred between 1914 and 1918, 4 years. This number represents roughly 4% of the entire male population of France at the time. To imagine the societal impact, picture every small town losing virtually all of its young men in a single generation. This was not just a military disaster, it was a demographic collapse that profoundly reshaped the French national memory.
The disparity in losses reveals a brutal truth about the nature of warfare in the early 20th century, particularly on the Western Front. Static warfare. Unlike America's primarily mobile wars, France was locked in 3 years of near-static trench warfare. Front lines moved only a few miles, but the battles, Verdun, the Somme, were fought to the point of utter attrition. Technology versus tactics. The military tactics of the era had not caught up to the technology. Generals ordered massed infantry charges, human waves, directly into the face of machine guns and concentrated artillery fire. The battlefield. France was the primary battlefield. The vast majority of the fighting between the Allies and Germany took place on French soil, meaning French units were constantly engaged in the most catastrophic sectors. This relentless, mechanical slaughter resulted in casualty rates that modern soldiers would deem impossible. In some battles, French units lost 60 to 70% of their men in a matter of days.
Expanding the scope to the entire war, we must look beyond France. The total military dead for the Central and Allied powers exceeded 9.7 million. The United States, though critical to the final victory, entered the war late and lost approximately 116,000 soldiers. A tragedy, but a fraction of the scale experienced by the European powers. The massive difference in loss fundamentally changed how European nations viewed international conflict, leading to a deep, lasting pacifism that the U.S. arguably never fully shared. The sheer trauma is the hidden truth behind Europe's 20th century political movements.
The statistic that France lost more men in WWI than the U.S. lost in its entire history is more than just a piece of trivia. It is a powerful reminder of how close an entire civilization came to collapse. It forces us to step outside our national narrative and recognize the scale of sacrifice endured by our global allies. We must remember these numbers not to compare pain, But to honor a sacrifice so profound, it forever altered the demographic, cultural, and political landscape of an entire continent. The Great War truly was a catastrophe on an unprecedented scale. What other historical truths do you think Americans failed to fully grasp? Let me know in the comments below. Like this video and subscribe to Unmasking Truth for more hidden truths.